Hello and welcome to Working Crass Podcast, episode 21. This is Lauren.
Hello.
And I'm Joshua. Hello. And we're a British podcast. But we just talk about the horse shit going on in the world and in our lives. But you know that because you're one of our valued listeners, one of our subscribers on YouTube, probably, right?
You're just a couple of gutter snipes like us.
Listening to an old podcast, would you?
Old podcast.
Listen, old Widgy Digit. This is the Widgy Digit podcast. Where we ask the real questions like Widgy Digit or Digi Digit. So
And should you, could you?
should you, could you? Or Widgy Digit?
Or would you, should you?
Would you digit or should you digit?
Those are all the important questions, and we're going to answer some of those today.
Stupid British people.
Yeah.
I'm just joking. Oh, doody-doody-doo.
Tip-top, clip-clop.
I'm so glad your ancestors built a better country. They left and they said, we're going to build a better country, and it's called America, where we talk better than them damn Brits. This is the way you're supposed to talk. Would you digit? Now, Lauren, I've been wondering, and, we're married, so we might have kids.
Mm-hmm.
And, someday we hope to have children, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what would you name our kids? Widgy and Digit?
Yeah, Widgy and Digi, Shidgy Coogee, and...
Oh, we're going to have a lot of kids.
And Subway Eat Fresh.
That's right, although I'm going to have to bleep that out now.
Oh, shit.
Can't use our real last name on this podcast, Lauren.
Oops. I forgot the number one rule.
Don't reveal our identities.
Number one rule, don't dox ourselves. And I broke it.
But that's okay. We can bleep it out. But now, here's the important thing. When we have kids, how are we going to teach them that their grandmother is racist?
That's a really good question.
Now, I'm not saying my mother is racist. But your mom?
She's not either.
Your mom is a Fox News mom. Your mom's a Breitbart mom. She sent us an American flag today that said Happy Labor Day.
Yeah, she did.
Celebrate your freedom today.
My mom's just very patriotic.
Yes, she is. And your dad is always, don't get her started on the trans people, please. No, I'm sure, my mom has said her share of racist things, but haven't we all? If there's anything that critical race theory has taught me is that we're all racist, so we may as well just keep being racist. Now, we found this article. You found this article. How do I teach my kids their grandmother is racist?
Yeah, this was like a advice article sent into Jezebel, and I just thought the title was funny, so...
Because when you need advice on life, you go to Jezebel.com.
Well, that's what I've always said. I said, when I don't know the answer to life's philosophical questions, I'm going to turn to the, radical feminist publications, because I'm sure they have solid advice.
Family problems, emotional issues, mental issues, any advice you might need, Jezebel.com has got you covered.
Yeah.
So this person sends in a letter. Dear Jane, I am a woman of color who is married to a white dude. Most of our married life, we live with his mom. At first, it was because we were both students and he has 2 kids from a previous marriage, and it was nice to have a big house to live in. Now she lives with us because she wants to take care of his mom. Because he wants to take care of his mom in her old age. I'm grateful for all the help we've received and the fact that the kids have a grandparent around who loves them. Lately, I'm finding living with her a real burden, not because of her age, but because of her ideas. So this woman has, basically opened her home to us. She gave us a place to live for many years, and I'm happy that my kids have, a grandmother and everything, but the way she thinks bothers me. If it if it comes out outwardly as like insults to the woman of color here, then okay, like maybe, she has a point. She has to live with her all the time. You can't just like shout, things about the blacks to your, black daughter-in-law.
Yeah.
You're gonna, cause some tension there. You're gonna cause some issues. But if it's just the ideas that she never voices these ideas, she's just like, it's like, Grandma, what do you think about what do you think about Trump? And she's like, I like him. And she's like, you know what? I need to send a letter to Jezebel. But because of her ideas, I didn't used to say anything, but now I let my mouth run. The other day we had an argument because people in a small Canadian city were protesting all the refugees who were illegally entering Canada from the U.S. I looked it up later, and they weren't protesting at all. They were wondering about the tents pitched up by the federal government and wanted to know what they could do to help. But during the argument, I called the city racist if they were protesting the mostly Haitian refugees. She started to defend the city and say they were not racist for not wanting people to clutter up the area. So she's saying that she looked this up, and it turned out that she was wrong, but in the process of the argument, she didn't like the stance that the grandmother had.
Yeah,
and this is like a political issue that she saw in the news, and they argued about it.
Yeah. See, here's what I think.
Yes.
This all boils down to this person is annoyed by living with their in-law.
Mm-hmm.
Because living with, extended family is difficult. It's hard.
Yes.
And at a certain point, people get on your nerves.
Yes.
And she's looking for what is an easy out to say, get this lady out of here, because she, that the mother-in-law did open her house to her son and fiance at a time when they didn't have anything and they needed a place to stay.
Yeah.
And so now she feels guilty about just kicking her out because she's annoying her.
Yep.
So she's looking for what is a really good reason that nobody could argue with me and they would feel bad for me.
Oh, yeah. Kind
well,
of
if I just call her racist, nobody will want to fight me on that one.
This is it's called the Meghan Markle technique.
Yes. The Meghan Markle defense.
Yeah, exactly. They're racist. That's why I'm leaving.
Well, in this case, she's racist. That's why she's leaving.
Yeah, that's why she needs to leave. Put her in a home. But I mean, it's really just an argument over politics. It's not really it's not racism that's directed at her at all. So far, we'll see.
No.
Apparently, during the argument, I called her racist. I don't remember calling her that, but I call people racist all the time. I'm a black woman. I just throw that out there anytime I disagree with anybody.
I just use it as a filler word and
So I was at the store the other day. You're racist. And I see this guy. But she is a racist from every other conversation I've had with her. 2 days later, well, I guess we'll never know what those conversations are. That's pretty convenient. 2 days later, she asked me to never, ever call her a racist. I can call her intolerant or a bigot, but never a racist. I told her she needs to find out what racism is. That's true. She needs to find out what racism is, because racism isn't just, slavery. Racism is everything now, honey. And you could be a racist for just about anything.
Literally, it's like microscopic particles that surround us in the air, our environment, and you're breathing it in all the time, and you don't even know.
Yeah, that's correct. I mean, that's the current definition of racism. Racism is a creature that lives in all of us.
Well, it's like those microscopic creatures that live on your eyelashes.
Yes.
They're so small you can't see them, but they cover your entire body.
Racism is like your skin. It's just on you. Racism is as real as your bones and your organs. It's actually located right here. The doctor can take out the racism, but it's a dangerous procedure. She says she knows what racism is because she's lived longer than I have. I, of course, said that I know better what racism is because I experience it every day, and that being labeled racist is not worse than being affected by racism. So this grandma's like, I lived through slavery. I opposed it at every step. I marched in the civil rights and in the civil rights rallies. And this woman is like, yeah, but you don't know it any better than me. I took a critical race theory class in college, so I know a little bit better than you.
It's not even that. She's just like, I read Robin DiAngelo's book, White Fragility, so I know racism.
I know a little bit more. I experience it every day. Nobody says anything to me, but I feel it. I just really doubt she experiences racism every single day. She might experience a mental
where you're prejudging other people based on
yes.
your preconceived notions of how you think they're going to react to you.
Absolutely.
Like you think everybody's judging you when really nobody's paying attention to you at all.
She might experience insecurity every day like all of us and then blame racism for insecurity.
Yeah.
And that would be nice. I wish that all of my insecurities I could blame on racism. But I don't.
I mean, you could.
I could. I absolutely could.
You just choose not to.
I mean, conservative white people love to do that too, right? You're a racist. Oh, it's because I'm white, huh? No, it's because you're burning a cross in my yard. Oh, you don't like me burning a cross in your yard just because I'm white, huh?
So
I guess you're a racist then.
Well, where the hell else am I supposed to burn a cross these days?
Anyway, back and forth. She doesn't want to be called racist in her own home, a home we partially own. Wait, I thought this was their home.
Yeah, if you partially own it,
so the
then
mother partially owns this home? So she let you live with them, and then you guys became part-time owners, and you called that she moved in with us.
I would think that if somebody is really racist against another race, they're probably not going to be co-owners on a property with the person of the race that they're against, right?
Absolutely.
If they're truly racist.
Absolutely. I would say so. And couldn't I just respect that? If she were really racist, how could she live with me all these years? Even she's thinking that. We're thinking of moving to a different town, and she will be moving with us. I want to have a peaceful house, but I don't want to. But I want to be able to call a spade a spade. Old white lady, a racist. No matter what.
I want to be able to call my mother-in-law a bitch.
My mother-in-law is completely unaware of her white privilege. She doesn't realize that she actually holds power to affect the lives of people of color by voting for a bigot, even just for economic reasons. So everything we suspected to be true at the beginning of this is what's true about this.
100% true.
Is she just voted for someone you don't like, and so she's racist.
Well, she's annoyed by living with her in-laws. She wants an easy out, and so she's looking for validation, and she's come up with a way that it's going to be difficult for people to argue against kicking her in-law out of the home.
Yep, absolutely. She goes, I have half white children, Muslim children, who will be experiencing overt racism soon. Well, how? Just like... Because everyone who says like they're unaware of their white privilege, they're like experiencing racism is literally going outside and breathing air. Or having an insecurity because a white person looked at you in a way that you were uncomfortable with, and you go, that's racist. I see it. I saw racism today. Mm-hmm. See it every day. Mm-hmm. You don't even know what it's like. I could walk outside and just be murdered.
Yeah. Well, we all could, really.
We all could, especially us whites. Oh, man. I need to teach them about what they will face, and they will eventually realize their grandmother is racist. This isn't a Thanksgiving dinner where I can argue with her and leave. This is in my home. How do I keep peace in my home and call out racism as soon as I see it? Pissed off in Canada.
So this is Jezebel's response. And
Wait. No, she still has more. P.S. You might want to know where my husband is in all this. He works in that little town where we are planning to move and is often away from home. So, again, you're right. It's arguments because they're home alone together. Mm-hmm. And he's never around. Mm-hmm. He works really, really long hours. I mean really long, and is way too tired to deal with home problems. So even he comes home and she brings this up, and he's like, oh, Jesus Christ, whatever. Just please stop.
Well, he's probably like, she's a co-owner on the house.
Look, here's the thing, and here's the truth about this. The woman who wrote this letter, she is the true, she has internalized racism because she married a white guy. And what I've learned from, you know, anti-racist rhetoric is that black people can't marry white people.
I've learned that from anti-racist rhetoric as well, that white people can't marry black people because it's your inherent desire to be closer to blackness. So really, you know, your interracial marriage is for nefarious purposes.
Absolutely. That's correct. That's correct. I mean, according to, you know, anti-racist rhetoric.
Yeah,
you know.
According to Ibram X. Kendi.
Yes, absolutely. You know, you have white spaces and you have black spaces, and it's different than you know in the past when you had
like white water fountains and black water fountains. And,
you know, it's different because that was to protect the white people from the scary black people.
Well, that's different because
now we're protecting the black people from the scary white people.
Yes. And it's different because that was then.
That was then,
and this is now.
This is now. It's different because it's now.
It's different.
It's progress when it happens now.
Right, exactly.
It's regression when it happens then.
When it's in the past, regression. When it's in the present, progress.
And this is why there's plenty of college campuses that are like splitting up their graduation ceremonies between white graduation ceremony and black graduation ceremony. Is, you know, as we've learned from, you know, the tenets of anti-racism, it's keep the races separate. Separate but equal, if you will.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus. Oh God. And then of course, you know what Jezebel's response is going to be. Jezebel's like, oh great, it's
going to be really nuanced.
Oh,
it's going to be thoughtful, nuanced. It's going to be like, take a deep breath. Maybe you are processing the situation incorrectly. Let's maybe look at it from a different perspective and see if we still arrive at the same conclusion.
Absolutely not. That's not what it's going to be. It's going to be good. You're completely indoctrinated into this political ideology, and that's exactly where we want you to be. Stay there. And so their response is, hang on, you basically live alone with your racist mother-in-law right now? Yikes, I'm so sorry. That is a fucking nightmare. Good Lord.
Don't just kick your mother-in-law out of the house. Lock her up in jail. That's where she belongs. She belongs in jail.
How is this helpful? How is this in any way helpful? Is you have these arguing family members that they're arguing about politics is what they're arguing about. It's not, and they can say all they want. This isn't political. It's about, you know, race isn't political. It's like you're arguing about who she voted for president. Yes, it's political. That's all this is. And the political rhetoric, they use race as a way to divide people. That's what it is. And you've been got.
Yeah.
You've been got.
You got.
You got got.
You got.
This woman is happy to have you as her daughter-in-law. She's happy to live with you and co-own a home with you. And because of who she voted for, she hates you and your skin color and everyone who, you know, that's your thought process there.
Yeah.
And that only a political ideology can do that to you.
Yeah.
Only a political ideology can make you ignore all of the reality in front of your eyes and create a false reality in your head.
Yeah. But it probably, it's even, you know, less like nuanced than that. It's mostly, I'm just annoyed because I'm here with this person day in, day out, and they're just getting on my nerves. And now I'm looking for things.
Well, I guess let's see how Jezebel makes this worse, because it looks like they're going to make it even worse and worse and worse.
Good.
This is horrible advice. This is actually like a bad thing that they're doing here. Here's the thing. She knows you know she's a racist. Here's the thing. Here's the truth, honey. Here's the thing is you're right. All of your insecurities and problems and ideologies are right. And she's just wrong. This is like no therapist would ever do this if you got in an argument with like, well, no therapist worth their salt or grain or whatever the saying is. It would ever like give a person this when you're dealing with like interfamily relationships. Nobody would ever be like, well, here's the first thing is you're completely right and they're completely wrong. That's like the worst advice ever.
Here's advice.
Here's the thing though, is like you're right.
It's like you're perfect.
Yeah.
You're perfect and you don't need to change in any way.
Yeah.
And everything that you're doing is the correct way of doing things.
Absolutely, yeah.
And your in-law, They should be killed.
They should be.
They should be locked up in a Russian gulag and killed.
Oh, well, don't worry. They come to that. They go, if words matter. Oh, wait. Well, let's keep going. The groundwork has been laid. Good job. And her arguments are stupid.
And her arguments are stupid, and her face is stupid, and her hair is stupid.
I just love that they say her arguments are stupid. None of the grandma's arguments were represented in the letter.
I know.
And so it's just like an assumption. It's an automatic, oh, she voted Trump? Well, her arguments are stupid anyway. It's like, what are her arguments? We don't know. And she's not the boss of you, so you can do whatever you want. But as with any asshole, you can't change people very easily by yourself when you're raising kids, especially stubborn racists who won't even consider your point of view. Who said she's stubborn and didn't consider her point of view? Nobody has said this.
I'm just going to say, perhaps you're not considering her point of view, though. The in-laws' point of view isn't being considered.
Jezebel's like, no, do not do that.
Her point of view is racist, and that's that. Point blank, period.
Whatever you do not even for a second begin considering the point of view of your enemy. That should be like the political message for both sides completely. Whatever you do, don't ever consider your political opponent's opinion. Ever. Don't consider their feelings or their emotions or how they feel.
Nope.
Now, so let's just assume calling her a racist won't alter a thing. You could replace the word with bigot. That works and lets her know you're paying attention. But if words matter to you, you could also just keep calling her a racist until she shuts the fuck up and has her racist thoughts on the inside, not the outside, or dies. She's going to die, I promise.
Because Jezebel, I think.
Because Jezebel is going to kill her.
They're going to send someone to this lady's house. They're going to find her.
Oh, P.S. Your husband is a coward. Like, why would you write for advice from people who are going to talk to you this way? This is horrible. Oh, P.S. Your husband's a coward. We all have jobs. Whoop-de-doo. That does not mean we don't stand up for our partners. Your husband should come home and kill his mother.
Yeah. P.S. He has a small dick.
P.S. Your kids are going to come out retarded if you have a kid with him. I know you want to handle this yourself, and congrats, you will have to, but he's getting major side-eye from me right now. Here's my advice. Dump your husband, kill his mom. They should have just wrote that only.
Too long, didn't read.
Now, what's also great is they have not given the advice. She's not even asking, how do I teach my kids their grandmother is racist? She's asking, how do I resolve this issue? And Jezebel's they're not even answering the question that's the title.
Yeah.
So I do have a solution for how to teach your kids your grandmother is racist.
Yeah?
Let's say, because, all of our grandmothers, all of our mothers, say, racist things sometimes. And, they're older. They're of a different generation, right? They would say things that might not be completely appropriate. Sometimes they're joking. Sometimes they're not. It's a little sad how crazy older people are. So I recommend the method where, you drop your baby in the pool and they learn to swim real quick. Just have your kid take their black friend from school over to your grandmother's house and let them experience the racism firsthand. Drop them in the pool. Let them see what happens. And hey, it might not even be that bad. Maybe just your grandmother just says, "Can I touch your hair?" And that's only a little racist. It's not that bad. I mean, who knows? Maybe that's just as bad as burning a cross in the yard to some people. Or maybe she kicks the kid out of the house completely, and then, your kid learns that grandmother's really racist.
Or another dropping the kid in the pool style way of teaching is take your
Don't drop your kid's black friend in the pool, though. Whatever you
don't
do.
Do that. Don't do that. That's a bad idea. No. You take the grandmother and your kid and you drop them off in in the hood.
Oh, yes.
And then you're like, I'll pick you guys back up at 5.
Yep. And then just watch grandmother go, oh, well, I don't know. Drop us off in the hood and see how we react. Let's get out of here. Let's take the train down to the south side of Chicago and see how you and I react. I think we should leave. We'll become grandmothers real quick.
I'll turn real Jewy. Oh, my sciatica's acting up again. Oh, my God.
I left my ointment at home. We have to go.
But that's another technique you could do.
So that's our advice. That's how you teach your kids their grandmother is racist.
Yeah.
Drop them in the pool. Throw them in the pool. Or as Jezebel would say, kill the grandmother and divorce your husband.
It's very Monty Python-esque strategy for teaching. Drop them in the pool. If they sink, they're not a racist. If they float, racist.
Racist. Oh, boy. So I had an idea for our podcast to do like a live version of it if we ever do. I mean, maybe we won't. But the idea was like, because I don't know, I'd like it to be interesting live if we did it in front of an audience. Mm-hmm. My idea was that we have that like wheel spinner thing up there that we just write. We write left wing, right wing, left wing, right wing, or like
left ring, right ring,
left wing, right wing, left ring, left wing. It's difficult to say. But we write left and right on the whole thing. Maybe libertarian on a couple of them too. And then we spin the wheel and we say, "Hello, we are a right-wing podcast. We are a left-wing podcast, or we are a libertarian podcast." And then when we react to the articles that we bring in, but we have to stay within those confines. So, for example, how do I teach my kids their grandmother is racist? If we were a right-wing podcast, we would, probably give the same advice we did today. No, I'm just joking. If we were right-wing, we would say, you should teach, your grandmother's right. Here's the thing. How do I teach my kids their grandmother is racist? By teaching them to be more racist. No, I don't know. But if we were a left-wing podcast, then we would do how do I teach my kids their grandmother is racist?
Because she exists.
Because she exists. As Jezebel would say, kill the grandmother.
Kill the grandmother, dump your husband.
And if we were a libertarian podcast, we'd probably react the way we normally do. Where we make fun of both sides. We made fun of both sides in this one here.
And all of our conclusions boil down to a free marketplace is the best policy.
Well, here's the thing.
Free market of ideas.
If your kids have a racist grandmother and you're afraid of them learning about racism too young, or having to confront that, the free market's going to work that right out.
Yeah. Allow her to test her ideas.
Have you thought about opening a business? Consider starting a business and hiring your grandma. I don't know, just an idea. Maybe we'll do something like that in the future.
No, I think that's a good idea. I think it's a fun idea.
I think it would be fun because then the audience is like, you get some. I like things where you get something different every time, every show you're at.
And really, we will get to piss off everybody.
That I like too. And then also we can defend, if we say something, because we often say something that's probably not allowed or considered bullying or whatever. We can say it's just the wheel said we're a right-wing podcast.
We are nothing but mere slaves to the wheel.
I also at a comedy club in Chicago would love to spin a right-wing podcast and then go, "All right, lefties, get out of here." Just like scream at people.
All right, you snowflakes. You pack your shit up and get out.
It'd just be fun. Just like it would also be fun in Texas to go to a comedy club and go, "All right, you goddamn right-wingers. You racist motherfuckers, get out of here. It's SJW time." Oh, no.
We're just going to do a drag queen show.
It's drag time. That's funny. Well, speaking of drag queens, let's move to this article. Armed volunteers guard a drag brunch amid protests in Texas. So speaking of drag queens and Texas here. Yeah. So this is, I guess, armed volunteers are guarding the drag brunch. They're sick and tired of the right-wing people saying that this is groomers trying to groom children. And, they're sick and tired of them taking the kids off the stripper poles and like.
So what better way to show that these drag brunches are friendly
safe
and safe and family oriented than by showing up with guns,
armed guards, and they're like, "We have to protect our women. I mean, men dressed as women. We have to protect our beautiful men dressed as beautiful women."
Yeah, it is pretty funny that we've gotten to the point where where now we have armed people on both sides of the aisle.
Yeah, absolutely.
All over drag shows.
Armed volunteers were seen outside of Anderson Distillery and Grill on Sunday. So I also love already that the family-friendly brunch is at a distillery. All right, kids, now try a little vodka. Now get up on that pole and shake that ass. I just saw a clip of a pride parade. I forget what state they were in, but there's like this stripper on a pole, and then in her lap is like a toddler on the pole too, just stripping with her.
Oh my God.
Jesus Christ. They're like, we're not grooming children.
She's just making money. I am teaching her about capitalism.
Thrusting into the kid every time she says it. This is about...
Now put $1 in her diaper.
Tip the kid. Though the Barrel Babes drag brunch event was described on Facebook as a place where kindness and inclusion meets fabulous fun.
Well, I just want to say, nothing says kid-friendly like Barrel Babes.
Protesters were furious about the brunch. Protect Texas Kids, a nonprofit that aims to protect children from the toxic, indoctrinating agenda of the left, protested the event. On Facebook, the organization asked supporters to show up in full force and show that the majority of us are against children being involved in these disturbing, sexually explicit shows. Which, hey, look, there's a lot of real good examples of these shows being sexually explicit and involving children. Again, I just saw a TikTok actually recently as well of kids at one of these events where the stripper or whatever bends over right in front of the kids, and it zooms in on the kids' faces. It's these two boys, and they go... just big old eyes. They're like, oh, I just saw a butthole. It's crazy. I mean, and it's like a clearly not appropriate for kids, and they just keep lying. Yeah. They're like, no, this is family friendly. And to be honest, I bet that there's plenty of these drag brunches or whatever that they do actually aim to be family friendly but you know, there's just something about, you know.
I just don't understand why you want to make something that's club culture for kids. Like,
it is club culture.
Like, that's an adult thing. Why can't adults just have a thing and not have kids be into it too?
Yeah.
Why do we have to, you know, expand everything out to make it some things are not meant to be family friendly, and that's okay.
I don't think drag shows were ever meant to be family friendly. I mean, when you went to drag shows several years back, like the whole thing was it's offensive first.
It's supposed to be
offensive. It's
women supposed to be very sexual because that's part of the joke.
Now, I'm sure it's changed a lot because I remember seeing drag shows and the drag queens would like talk about race, would make fun of like different races in the crowd and stuff.
A lot of ethnic humor.
A lot of ethnic humor. And a lot of like offensive like humor. And it was funny. Like people really enjoyed that because it's where you go to see taboo things joked about, taboo subjects being brought up. And there's a place and a time for that. That's totally fine.
Yeah, and it's at a club at 2 a.m. in a room of adults.
Yeah, absolutely. So there is, and I bet that the jokes have toned down. As far as I've heard, the drag queens are like, you know, the first people to be offended by a racist joke now. And I'm like,
well, I bet there's a lot less ethnic
you were the drag queen of racist jokes before.
Well, there's probably a lot less ethnic humor, but my guess is like the sex jokes and stuff are probably same. Unless they're specifically like, this is the you know, the drag brunch for families, then it's like clean comedy. But
yeah, I'm having a hard time thinking of a drag brunch that would be okay for a family, because the first drag event I ever saw, I first walk in and the first thing I heard was, y'all all gonna fuck me in my big black booty. And I was like, Jesus, this is graphic. Y'all are all gonna fuck me in my big black booty? All of us? Can I skip? And I was like, nah, I'll try it. Y'all are y'all gonna fuck me in my big black booty.
Yeah. So this is just something I don't understand because I feel like turning it into something family friendly really just waters it down. And
Well, let's see.
It doesn't make sense to me.
The distillery owner, Jay Anderson, whose son was hosting the event, was quick to shut down the speculation about the show. The show will be hosted by my son, Bailey, a.k.a. Trisha Delish, which that's always how you want to describe your son, as Delish.
Well, I want
My
to say
son is Delish.
he should have taken the A, and it should have just been Trish Delish.
Trish Delish. Trisha Delish. Man, it's fine either way.
I
They're both gay. Who will ensure the show remains clean? No foul language, no sexual content, no erotic behavior. Performers will be fully clothed. Music will not contain explicit lyrics, he wrote on Facebook.
Okay, so then it's not really a drag show. This is just cross-dressers lip-syncing to pop songs.
That's another thing is like, how do you even do a drag show with no sexual content or no erotic behavior? That's not a drag show then.
Yeah, it's literally just watch some cross-dressing people.
Performers will be fully clothed? Fully? Because isn't part of the drag show also that they're like scandalous?
Yeah, because it's like we're doing the gender illusion. So the more like we can take off, but still,
Yes.
create the illusion.
Let me say this: if any of the men who participate in the drag show accentuate their breasts in any way, then it is sexually explicit content.
That is true.
Like if they're
there.
creating fake breasts, then it is sexual content because you're drawing attention to
The bosoms.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, you make an excellent point there.
So
these are all flat-chested.
These are just men who are not
dresses.
dressed as women.
Again, this is just cross-dressing people lip-syncing to pop
absolutely.
songs. Now, that's perfectly fine if you want to send your kids to watch that. That's your choice as a parent.
Yeah.
I think it's poor entertainment, but, to each their own.
Yeah. I love to see the drag shows, but I will not take my kids to it. Even if I disagree, I will be an example and behave in front of them. At the end of the day, the parents have the right to decide where their children go or not go. Yeah, I completely agree. I don't think
my take on it.
I don't think we need to shut down all of these events. I just think that they, if you bring your kids to them, you might be a little insane, but it's your choice. If that's
you're allowed to be insane.
You're allowed to be insane. Well, it depends on how insane, because some of these could get Child Protective Services showing up at your door, depending on what.
Well, that's the consequence.
Absolutely. Yeah. And we should have
You should have the right to choose to do that, but then be served the consequences that come with it.
You should have the right to put your kid in danger. As long as the government can keep taking them away. Oh, man. That's funny. Now,
well, I think it's a lot of people who are just trying to overcompensate.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're like, I have to overcompensate because I wasn't progressive enough when I was growing up, and so I'm just gonna go balls to the walls.
Yes.
With
now,
this stuff to kind of push it on my kids so that they don't make the same mistakes.
Right. Yeah. Now, we're going to spin the wheel here, and we're a left-wing podcast reacting to this. Armed volunteers guard a drag brunch amid protests in Texas. Here's what I'd say first. Take the guns away from the armed volunteers. They don't need to be armed. Nobody needs to be armed. Wait. Because you might say that the armed volunteers are protecting against the right-wing protesters that want to shut this thing down, and that's dangerous, right? Because they have guns too. But I propose on our Left Wing podcast that we all just decide tomorrow to live in an ideal world where right-wingers don't even exist. And then we somehow make that happen.
And I propose that the best way to make that happen is only drag queens can be armed.
Oh.
And they should be armed, even if there isn't a counter-protest going on.
Wow, interesting. They all should stay armed. So you're the right-wing podcast now.
No, I'm the left wing.
Oh, wow. Well, that's an interesting left-wing take that anybody should be armed.
Well, I believe that our most marginalized should be armed.
Should be armed. Mm-hmm. So we should take, and you're saying that maybe we should take guns away from white people
Yes, and we should put them in the hands of drag queens and then tell them to point those guns at the white people.
What if they're a white drag queen?
Well, sometimes suicide helps.
Oh my God.
Sometimes you have to put the greater good and the the goals of the revolution above your own right to live. That's what I would say as a far left podcast.
Now, as a right-wing podcast, if we were right-wing, armed volunteers guard drag brunch amid protests in Texas, I'd say, that's pretty cool. Hey, they're starting to get some guns. That's pretty good.
I'd say give those kids some guns,
Get
too.
them kids some guns, too, so they can shoot them drag queens. Trying to molest them.
We need guns on
Here's the
inside.
thing, son. If you ever go to a drag brunch, if you ever get dragged over to one of them drag brunches, just shoot the drag queen and get out of there.
All it takes is one good kid with a gun to take out a bad drag queen with a gun.
Again, not our advice. That's what the right-wing podcast would say.
Exactly.
Now, a libertarian podcast, which we might very well be, says, why are there armed volunteers and a drag brunch and kids and people to begin with? Can't they all just go home and start a business? Can't the free market work this out? What kind of goods and services are the drag brunch people serving, And does anyone want to pay for them? And if not, then the business will fail. And that's the free market.
Yeah.
That's just the free market.
Yeah. It is.
Being a libertarian podcast would be very boring. I think it would fit our mindset a lot better, but it's just boring. It's not the funny take. It used to be the funny take. Well, maybe it still is. Is it funnier to make fun of both sides now and just call them both, stupid? Or is it funnier to take an extreme opinion on one of the sides that you don't believe?
Oh man, that's like a Sophie's choice.
It really is. Because yes, I would prefer that everyone gets made fun of, and that's kind of how I like to do it, is pick an extreme on one of one of either sides. But it's not as funny to just kind of equally do it for any one thing. You should take a take of one of the sides and go just extreme with it. Yeah. It's just funnier.
I feel like this is a pretty libertarian take, but I say do it all.
Do it all.
Do it all.
Do it all. Speaking of do it all, you should get on that there then internet and look up Working Crass Podcast and do it all. And by do it all, I mean subscribe to our YouTube. We did gain subscribers from our last episode. We said we would shut this whole thing down, but we are now up to, I think, 10 or 11 subscribers. So thank you to those of you who are just now subscribing. Share it with your friends, please. If you're listening and you're not subscribed yet, please go subscribe on YouTube. All of our links and all of our episodes can be found on Instagram at Working Crass Pod. So go give us a follow over there, but most importantly, subscribe to that YouTube so we don't shut this whole thing down.
Yes.
And we'll do it. We'll do it.
We'll do it.
We'll do it. Now, and if you're not subscribing, is it because we're white?
Or is it because we're drag queens?
All right. So we talked about race. We talked about drag queens. Pretty much everything we could talk about to get us kicked off YouTube.
We've covered the most hardcore bases.
So let's talk about this one I thought was pretty funny. We like these Reddit stories.
Oh, yeah, we do.
This one was pretty funny to me. Today I fucked up. My 20-year-old girlfriend, who's the female, of 2 years, told me that the music I listen to or play during sex is weird and a major turnoff.
Oh, well now I'm intrigued.
Yes, so they play sex during music, or they play. I'm so fucking stupid.
They play sex during music.
They play music during sex, and she does not like the music. It's a turnoff. Now, already, can we guess what some of these songs are? What would a song be that would just turn you off?
Like atonal. Yeah, Mongolian throat singing. Just like a straight theremin.
Oh yeah.
The sounds of the theremin just playing on loop.
Yeah. What about Gregorian chants?
Gregorian.
Domine. I don't know.
Yeah, that'd be although that could be like maybe you're doing like a role play of like a witch and a priest.
Oh yeah. It's very Maybe you draw a pentagram on the floor.
Yeah. That could
light some
that
candles.
one could go either Gregorian chants. That could go either way.
Now maybe it's Puff the Magic Dragon. Something real gay. Maybe he plays.
I don't know. That's folksy and peaceful. I'm sure some people like that.
It's fun to stay at the YMCA, and he does it while they have sex. He does the YMCA.
That could be fun.
Yeah, you would be down for any of these, I guess. I think all of these are gay. I think funk and jazz are the only things that you should hump to.
I think this land is your land, this land is my land.
The Russian national anthem?
No, the Soviet national anthem is literally some of the most beautiful
Literally
music.
Makes me come every time.
Literally makes me cream my jeans. No, I just think it is a beautiful piece of music. It is very that's good entrance music.
Oh yeah.
Like there's something very hype about it.
Dun, 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 dun. I don't know how it goes. Okay, so this person, their girlfriend of 2 years, told him the music that he plays during sex is weird and a major turnoff. A little backstory. When I first started having sex, I researched into ways to be better as I was a little stiff and pretty much had no idea what I was doing. Being a little stiff during sex ain't a problem.
Not a bad thing.
You always want to be a little stiff. The stiffer you are, the better. I read online that you can play music and match the rhythm in order to put on a better performance. That's kind of interesting. I searched love-making songs and started slowly creating a playlist in which I was comfortable matching the rhythm. There are a few songs to my playlist. However, there's one song in particular, which actually happens to be my favorite, that my girlfriend hates and says turns her off in a major way. I don't understand why it has taken her 2 years to tell me she hates that song. It's a good love-making song with good rhythm. I feel the way I fucked up is I could have probably... Oh, God damn it. I can't read today. I feel the way I fucked up is I could have possibly asked her previously if she likes the playlist or any songs she'd like to add or change. But to leave it for 2 years thinking our sex life is great, but in her eyes has just been ruined by my music, has left the whole situation feeling awkward, and I'm a bit annoyed. Oh boy, there is a link to the song itself. I pretty much played this tune every single time, so the amount of time she must have not been enjoying it when I thought the complete opposite is annoying, but also embarrassing in ways. Not to mention my previous partners. However, they never complained about the song, so maybe it's just her. It's fucked up the relationship, to be honest, because sex feels awkward now. The other day, we were having sex with no music, but I was still thrusting to the tune playing in my head. She recognized this and asked me to stop. Oh my God. I thought this song was perfect, and I always thrust along with the tune and feel it gives me the perfect rhythm for doing the deed, too.
It's Staying Alive. He got the CPR advice and the sex advice mixed up.
Staying alive. I usually bust to this song and find it devastating. She hates the song. I love... Okay, so part of this kind of feels like this guy can only bust to this song now.
Yeah.
It's like this is his song, and he's been jerking it to this one.
Yeah, this is the climax
It's
song.
going to be like, there's some holes in this house. It's going to be WAP. Oh God!
Can we play this though? Are we gonna get copyrighted?
We'll play a short clip of it here, but there is an advertisement first.
All right. Well, let's find out.
Now, do you know this song?
Hudson Mohawk by Seabat?
No, Hudson Mohawk is the artist. Dummy.
Well, clearly
Dummy.
I don't know it because I thought the artist was the song title.
You thought the person's name here. And you said, that's the name of the song. That's the artist.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, Hudson Mohawk sounds like that could be a song title.
The song title is Seabat.
Yeah. Well, how am I supposed to know this?
All right. But is it good?
Yes.
only because of the triangle?
Yes. I love that.
It hasn't even gone anywhere yet. He comes then. He finishes right there.
Yes.
Oh! That's the problem. She doesn't even like to have sex in my favorite song. Ding! Oh!
It's very Pavlovian. He's trained his mind when he hears that triangle ding.
That is, yeah.
Like
that's what gives him an ejaculation.
Yeah.
Let's hear a little bit
his
more.
His pee-pee salivates.
Okay. Oh boy. Okay, so far, kind of cool. Okay, but how do you hump to the beat of this? I guess we got to fast
that
forward.
Triangle ding.
It's one hump, and then the rest of it is his glorious orgasm that lasts forever.
Yeah.
Oh, oh, oh.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, I fast forward a little. Let's see if it like picks up. That's just like an intro.
Okay.
Okay. Although I kind of hate it. I think this would annoy me too.
I love it. I hope that he's thrusting to each one of those little like shrieks.
No, it's the beat. He says the beat. Oh my God.
I love it. Oh, I can get down to this.
I don't know. I mean, yeah, it's fine. It has a beat to it, so he could hump to it. It's a little annoying. The little high sounds, I could see maybe getting on somebody's nerves.
Well, I mean, if I listened to, like, if that was the first time I was listening.
Look, you just like.
That's true. I do. But if I was in his partner's position and they were having sex and it was the first time I ever heard this song and those little shrieky things started happening, I would think like, hey, do you need to like feed your cats?
Mm-hmm.
Or like you have children or something like it might take me out of the moment then, but then that last part would bring me right back.
Well, top comment here. No way someone can be this clueless. No way, I refuse to believe it. First, you shouldn't be playing the same song every time you bang. That's pretty good advice. Second, it should never be this song. It's absurd that this was even thought of, joke or not. Wow. They laid hard into him.
Well, that's somebody who, like, they have to have it complete silence.
It says, I listened to that song and literally have tears in my eyes from cracking up. Thank you for making my day. So maybe this is a bit of a joke. This must be a god tier shit post. I admire your girlfriend's commitment and willpower. I cannot stop laughing at the mere thought of someone fucking to that song and rhythm. I mean, we can't listen to the whole thing here because we're a podcast, so maybe maybe there's a part of the song that's like, pop that pussy, girl. And it's like really funny.
See, I could get down to this.
Yeah, that doesn't really... oh my God, the top comment on the song. A moment of silence for that poor woman suffering 2 years of this. I can't even imagine his stroke game to these beats without laughing my ass off. This woman went 2 years without bursting into laughter. She's a better person than me. Wow. I mean, I feel like, is there like a...
I like that right there. I like that.
You might need to find this guy. Let's see here. Who's it? Tyler Life. Hey, Tyler Life. If you listen to Working Crass podcast, this one right here, you can have her.
Hey, Tyler Life, I just want to say you have an excellent song choice for nutting too. I agree with it. I think you should continue to use this song and just, bust away, dude. Bust away.
Now, here's the catch, though. If your mom is racist, it won't work.
Yeah, if your mom is racist, I'll have to kill you and her. So that's that.
Oh, God. Well, what did you learn today?
I learned that I'm going to have to look up Seabat's whole...
The song is called Seabat.
Oh. I'm going to look up Hudson Mohawk's whole discography because I'm into it.
I don't know. Maybe I'm completely wrong. Maybe somebody will comment on me. No, dumbass. The artist's name is Seabat. The song is called Hudson Mohawk. No, artist, Hudson Mohawk.
Well, I'm looking up Hudson Mohawk. I learned that I need to look up Hudson Mohawk's discography.
Well, the album is Satin Panthers. Just so you know.
All right. Well, I'm going to check out Satin Panthers, see if I like anything else on it.
Yeah.
See if it makes me come. And I will also look up to make sure that Hudson Mohawk doesn't have any racist grandmothers, and also is in support of armed protesters and counter protesters at drag brunches.
Nice.
That's what I learned.
I learned I'm gonna have to find a new wife. I learned that, we met and started dating because of your good taste in music. You made me a playlist. And
I'm sad that I didn't include this on it. I missed a golden opportunity.
And how did I know that the relationship would end the way it began? All right. My headset has fallen off for some reason, I guess designating that this podcast is over. But no, what I seriously learned is that that I'm going to have to find a new wife. That's as good as I can get there. All right. Please subscribe to the YouTube, and we'll see you next Monday. Goodbye.
Bye.